Welcome to this video on working with calendars in SharePoint 2013. A calendar displays information about events, dates, and schedules. If you are familiar with Outlook, you will notice many similarities with SharePoint calendars. This video describes how to add, modify, and delete events in a calendar, and reviews ways to change the calendar's display. Let's use the training calendar in the Contributor Work Zone for our example. There are many ways to add an event to a calendar, depending upon the view you are in. By default, you're in the Calendar view, where the easiest way to add an event is to hover over or click a day in the calendar and click Add. You can also click the Events tab and New Event. Let's change the view to All Events by clicking the Calendar tab, the Current View drop-down, and All Events. The quickest way to add an event here is by clicking New Event. You can also click the Items tab and New Item. Now go to the Current Events view. Click the List tab, the Current View drop-down, and Current Events. Here, add an event by clicking Add New Event, or by going to the Items tab and clicking New Item. Now that you've seen several ways to get to the New Item dialog, let's create a one-time event for an NCDOT training workshop. All events must have a title and start and end time, so let's enter those required properties along with the location. Enter a brief description of the event. You can place the event into an existing category or create your own category. Here, we'll create a category for training. If the event lasts all day, it's faster to click All Day Event rather than defining a start and end time. But our event is only 3 hours long. We'll cover repeating events in our next example. Click Save to place the event in the calendar. Many events occur on a predictable schedule. Since we're still in the training calendar, let's add a recurring event for a Lunch and Learn that will be held every 2 weeks. Let's change back to the Calendar view by clicking the List tab, the Current View drop-down, and Calendar. Click the first day for the luncheon in the calendar and Add. Enter the title, location, and start and end time. In the description, we'll add information about the luncheon, and we'll use the same training category as before. Since it's a bi-weekly event, click Make this a repeating event. Choose Weekly, then define the pattern as every 2 weeks on Tuesday, starting next Tuesday. We want to end the sequence after 8 occurrences, which is 16 weeks, so we can evaluate the effectiveness and appeal of the training. Click Save and you'll see some of the luncheons appear in the current month. Let's click Add again to take a quick look at the other recurrence options. Daily gives you a choice of every weekday, that is, Monday through Friday, or a set number of days, such as every day. Monthly lets you pick by date, such as the 26th, or pick by day of the week, such as the first Wednesday. And yearly lets you pick by month and date, such as August 26th, or by day of the month, such as the first Wednesday in August. All recurrence options require a start date, which is today's date by default. You must also define an end date. The default is none, but you can also specify how many occurrences or a particular date. Let's cancel out. If you need to add a number of events at the same time, you'll find Quick Edit to be far more efficient than entering events one at a time. To use Quick Edit, you must be in the All Events view. We're in the Calendar view, so let's click the Calendar tab and the Current View drop-down and switch to the All Events view. To open Quick Edit, click Edit this list, or go to the List tab and click Quick Edit. Quick Edit is a spreadsheet view that you're likely familiar with from Excel. We'll enter 2 more content tagging workshops. Enter the title, location, and the start and end time for the first event. Start and end time default to the current time if you don't enter anything. Let's add 1 more event. I'll use the autofill handle to copy the previous row, then change the date and time. While I finish that, let's review 2 limitations of Quick Edit. If the calendar contains columns that are not displayed in the All Events view, you must change the view to edit those columns. For example, this view does not contain category, so you cannot edit that property here. The Recurrence and All Day Event columns are grayed out because you cannot create this type of event using Quick Edit. Edit the individual events after they are created if they need to become recurring or all-day events. We'll review editing later in this video. We're finished, so click Stop Editing this list to save changes. Let's return to the Calendar view by clicking the Current View drop-down and Calendar. Here, you have a few ways to control how events are displayed. One option is to change the scope of the display. The default scope is usually month, but you can change it to week or day on the Calendar tab. This is a temporary change. If you refresh the page or return to the page later, the default scope reappears. A second option is to collapse or expand days so that all events are visible. For example, on the 14th, you see 3 events listed with a link for 2 more events. Click that link to see all the events, and click Collapse to return to the compact view. The 28th also has more than 3 events. Use the Expand All command to expand all of the dates with more than 3 items, and the Collapse All command to restore them to the compact display. Someone has noticed a typo in an event's description, so let's look at how to view and edit an event. In the Calendar view, simply click the event title to see its details. In the All Events view, you can also see event details by selecting the event, then clicking Items and View Item, or clicking the ellipsis next to the event's title and View Item. The Current Events view has these same options. Once you're in the event properties, you can delete that event. You can also set an alert and launch a workflow if any have been created. Here, let's edit the description. In the Edit dialog, you see all of the event properties. You have the same Save, Cancel, Cut, Copy, Paste, and Delete commands as you did when you added an event. Click Spelling to find our error. The spell checker notes the number of errors. Click OK, then click Spelling Errors Found. You'll see the mistake and options to correct it. We'll click Change Once and OK. Another useful feature is the ability to attach a file, such as an agenda. Click Attach File, browse to the file, click the file name and Open to select it, then OK to attach it. Scroll down to see the link to the attachment. Click Save. We did not make any changes to the recurrence, so click OK to continue. To see the agenda, you must view the event. If your list frequently requires attachments, ask a designer to include the Attachments column in the view. That column displays a paperclip icon, so it's easy to see if there's an attachment. This video has described working with the SharePoint 2013 calendar. We've covered how to add single, multiple, and recurring events, how to use different scopes and expansion options, and how to view, edit, and delete events. We encourage you to check out our other SharePoint videos, as well as the reference and training materials on the SharePoint Help site. On Connect NCDOT, there is a link to help on every page. Go to the main Help page and click SharePoint Help to see the SharePoint Help information. On Inside NCDOT, There is a link to the help site in the header and footer of every page. Those links also take you to the SharePoint help site. For information on upcoming SharePoint classes, log in to Beacon and check the LMS training calendar, or contact the PC training group. Thanks for watching.